You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.
We're here with a legend, actually one of my heroes, if you will, professional soccer player. He actually was instrumental somewhat in building the sport here in America when he played for the New York Cosmos. Not to mention, he worked for legendary director John Huston, staring down Sylvester Stallone in the movie Victory. Everybody, Mr. Werner Roth. How are you?
Very good, Ethan. Nice to be here.
No, it's nice to have you here. Believe me, and my daughter's probably listening at home, pissed off because she's not here to meet you in person because she loves that movie.
She's the one, eh?
Yeah, both of us. I mean, I've been seeing that movie over the years. I've probably seen it 100 times. It's one of the best films ever made, I think.
Well, it was John Huston's comeback picture.
Was it considered a comeback picture?
Oh my goodness! Really, I didn't realize that it was.
Yeah,
considered
he had gone into semi-retirement, and then he had his third divorce and lost everything and needed the money.
Needed the money. That's what.
And
always
Freddie
happens.
Fields was developing this this interesting story, which is actually rooted in historical fact, not.
Oh, really?
Ultimately, yeah. But apparently, the German political machinery, the Nazis, were interested in a global event of some sort that they could use for propaganda, and they thought about this prisoner of war camp that they had with a bunch of players.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful melding of fact and fiction, and it's just it's really fabulous.
So they Freddie Fields had the script written and got John Huston out of retirement, and they got Pelé on board.
Yeah.
And all the things came together.
And you had played with Pelé on the Cosmos. Were you on the Cosmos prior to his arrival, right?
I was on the Cosmos from 71 through 79, through the 80 season.
Not bad.
Oh, beautiful. I feel better.
It's interesting. We were talking about Victory just a minute ago, and for those who had trouble hearing, we were talking about how it's sort of based in fact, and it's one of the all-time great movies, and as Werner just said, it was a comeback picture for director John Huston, who's a legend, who did Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Key Largo, fantastic movies. But what's good about it is you were saying it's based in fact, where basically Germany at that point, 1941-42, had conquered most of Europe and had all kinds of great soccer players in prisoner war camps who left soccer to become soldiers and whatnot. And it's a soccer game, and somehow you landed the role as the villain, the German team captain, which I'm curious about.
I'm still pissed off about it.
How did they decide on you being, it's a legendary part, I think, personally.
It was a call made by John after we met. I actually went to Budapest where the film was being done after a meeting with Freddie Fields in L.A., and he said, look, here are all the roles that are not cast yet. And I was interested in acting at that time. And there was a great little part of a Frenchman that wound up on the cutting room floor because he couldn't act or play soccer. So, but there was this French character that actually had a couple of great scenes. Never made it to the Paris match, but that was mine. I had studied, with my language teacher, studied the French accent and everything. And I went to Budapest, and still hadn't gotten the part. But Freddie said, "Look, whatever part you want, that part you'll get." We got there, we have a meeting with John Huston, and he takes one look at me and he said, where are you from? And I said, I'm German, born in Yugoslavia. And he said, how would you like to play Bauman? I said, well, John, I've been thinking about this French part, and I've studied all that.
Did you tell him that? You said,
I did,
listen, John, I know you're a legend.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sick of being typecast as a Nazi bastard.
Exactly, that was my point. And now you want me to play this bad guy? And he said, well, it's a pivotal role.
Exactly.
And we don't have anybody.
Exactly.
We don't have anybody to play with that yet. And your look, and you can speak German. You can put in a couple of words. So I was fighting until he said, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I am going to give you a scene at the climax of the movie. It'll be you." And he made the little square, as directors do with his fingers. He said, "It'll be you and Stallone. You and Stallone." I said, all right.
How can you turn that
down? Got me.
Yeah, that's it. He gets a lot of people. He got a lot of people that way while he was
Or he said, you can go home. One or the other.
Let's see. Let me think about that. Me and Stallone, or I can take a trip home.
Right.
It's funny. I mean, at one point, you must have been standing there where, the movie, the climax of the movie is you getting ready to kick a penalty kick, him as the goalie. And he catches it. And you must have at one point said, hey, look, John, I know you're the maestro here, but there's no fucking way this guy's blocking my penalty kick. That just does not happen. And I'd imagine you're probably sitting there as an actor, and Pele's probably laughing his ass off, too, going, we can kick it out. We can kick it around this guy all day long. But you got to kick it so he can catch it and save the...
We had a lot of fun with that scene, actually. It took about 18 takes.
Really?
For Stallone to
because
catch
17
the
of them went in the goal.
Went in the goal. And about 4 of them I put in the other corner just to piss him off.
That's always fun.
He's a very physical actor, Stallone.
Yeah.
And all the scenes prior to that climactic scene were done in prisoner of war camp. He did a lot of diving around, so he was beaten up, and he doesn't know how to play goal. So he fell on his body as opposed to how a goalkeeper would fall on the ball, on the arm, on the shoulder, do a roll. Stallone would catch a ball and fall like a ton of bricks. So he was bruised all over the place. They actually played with the idea of getting a stand-in with a Stallone mask.
Really?
Spend 25 grand on having this Stallone mask cast.
Sure.
And then when the mask was delivered, Stallone took one look at it and he said, "I don't look that bad." He actually does, but he said, "I don't look that bad." So they didn't use it, and he, to his credit, played all of the scenes, all of the goalkeeper scenes, and because this was shot towards the end of the movie, the climactic shot, the penalty, he was bruised, he was in pain, and he couldn't get to the penalty. And my whole point to John was, it's got to be up in the corner. You know, the German captain of this team is not going to make a bad penalty.
Right, not
but
something simple.
We had to keep lowering it, bringing it in to the point where he could actually catch it.
Did John Huston walk up to you and say, "Look, Werner, I'm sick of you paying me back for not playing the French guy. You're the German guy. We've shot a good part of the movie. Kick the fucking ball where he can catch it already." Because he probably thought you were doing this intentionally. I'm sure Pele was laughing his ass off.
Yeah, not in those words, but John had a good attitude.
Real quick, and I was hoping to get to this towards the end, but it's kind of relevant to now. You have a scene where Pele's trying to make his comeback on the field, and he's dribbling, and you stopping him, and you're doing the typical Nazi bastard shit, punching him in the ribs.
Yeah.
Now, when you get together to do that scene, and you're explaining it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love it too.
Payback for all those years, taking my money, never picking up a check.
Were you saying that to him on the set? You said, "This is for
absolutely,
this is for,
this is for Tulsa, this is for Vancouver, you little bastard." And I wasn't a good actor, so those punches were real. I mean, I'm punching him.
And Pele took it like a champ. Was he easy to work with, Pele?
He's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid. Yeah. You know, it's the only way I can explain it. He's a kid. He gets on the field, on a training. You know, he's like a kid. He's been a kid all his life. He can afford to remain a kid, and he just has a great time.
Because I'd imagine you guys were all kids. You're hanging around. You're going, "Look, we're playing a movie. We're doing a movie. We're getting paid to play soccer in a movie."
Absolutely. That's really how it was. A big part of the Allied team was Ipswich Town, the professional English club, and so day one on the set, John was looking for his players. There's nobody there. All the Ipswich players are gone. So I said, "Well, they're probably in the closest pub. You got a pub nearby?"
Right.
Because
of course.
they're standing around here for an hour without a beer. That doesn't work for English footballers.
Right.
So they send out the AD, and sure enough, he finds him at a local bar. He's got to drag him in now. So they built a pub on the set, prisoner of war set. So, as soon as these guys got done, they didn't have to leave the set
that
to
is my
get a
kind
couple of brews.
Director, man. And he has you to thank for it. Did all those English... I bet you never bought a beer in the place, did you? Because
there it was all for free, so they just brought the beer in. Yeah.
Wow.
Where is John Huston
what a life.
now?
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish he was still around.
But we did have a good time, and interestingly enough, if you've seen the movie, you see, and it's really visible in the penalty kick, when you've got the kind of the lineup, and it's the Stallone and Bauman character, and then you see the Allied players close up. They really had some acting capability. I thought that really sold it. One of the most interesting, and it gives you an idea of John Huston as a director. He's got all of his setups. He works with the same people all the time, so all his setups are done. He comes and he just moves a couple of things around, and then action. And he depends a lot on his actors to give him what they think in the first take, what they think their take on that particular scene is. So, the scene where Michael Caine's character, the coach, is trying to work out a play that the Allies can use against the Germans. So he says, "Well, if you give the ball to him, and you give the ball to him, and you give the ball to him, and so and so." So the scene goes as written. John yells cut, and Pele jumps down from the top of the bunk, and he goes, "No, Colby, you give me the ball here, I go here, I go here, I do this, I do this, I do this, score, finish." But there wasn't a take. It was just, he ad-libbed. Pele, he was having a good time, and this is what he wanted to do. So John said, "Start again, from the top, do it again." And Pele, "Do it that way."
Wow.
Did the scene all over again. And at the end of the scene, he kept rolling, and Pele did his little jumping off. Give me this, do this, blah, blah. And that's what that scene wound up in the movie, and it was one of the better scenes, I think.